Welcome everyone. This is step 8 of the building a RAG application using LangChain.js. In this step, we are actually going to create a chain. The concept of a chain is very important in LangChain. Basically, is when we combine multiple steps or multiple processes or multiple components together to create a chain that will give us some kind of like functionality. In this case, the chain that we want to build is a chain that is going to be accepting a query, an input string, a question, and it will be going through the process of querying the vector store, getting some relevant documents, and then using an LLM to actually produce a response. So the step that is added in this step is this command. So inside the async init function, after we have we create a retriever, we await for this asynchronous method. So this is a helper method. It's going to be asynchronous, so we're going to be awaiting for this and getting back the chain. So this is the only addition here on the init function. So what is this create chain doing? We're using a retrieval QA chain component from LangChain. You will see here I have a new import. The reason why this is strike through is because this is going to be deprecated. It's already deprecated in version 2 and it's going to be removed in version 3. I wanted to keep this demo and this code consistent with the original Python code, so I used this model which actually works, but in the extra steps we will see how we can replace this deprecated method with the method that the LangChain team actually suggests. But for now this is working. Don't worry too much. Keep in mind that this will not be available in version 3. So we import the retrieval QA chain, and basically this is an abstraction. This is a helper object that allows us to create a chain from a few components. We call here the retrieval QA chain, and then we call in turn the from LLM, which is helper method. We provide the LLM, the large language model. In this case, we're using Llama 3. And we pass in the retriever. So given to these two components, the large language model and the retriever, this method is going to create a retrieval QA chain that is going to be able to answer questions, retrieve the relevant documents, and then answer back according to our questions. So this is a nice abstraction because it would take quite a few lines for us to build a chain manually. So once we create this, we just return it. And then we also have this helper query chain, which is going to return back this value. So let me go back here just to make it clear. So this create chain will create this retrieval QA chain. This function will return the chain here. This chain will in turn be stored in this property of our class, and this little guy here will just whenever we call it, it will return this part of the class, this chain property. So this is just a helper method to quickly give us access to the chain. So this is what's happening in our class. Let's see our code here. So once again, the same things. We initialize our class, we call the init method, we get back an object, and then through the object we call this last query chain method, and we now have access to the retrieval QA chain. Let me just console log this so to see what we get back. So let me run step number 8. We get an object, which is a large object. Let's go up. It's a big object of type retrieval QA chain. It has a retriever, which is a vector store retriever, some other stuff inside here. We don't need to worry too much about all these things, but just nice to look at things under the hood from time to time. So we get this retrieval chain, and then we're going to be using it by using the invoke method. So this object gives us access to this invoke method, and we need to pass an object with a property query. So our query will be placed in this property, and what we'll get back is an object that contains few things. First of all, let me run this and see what we get back given this question. It's going to not only retrieve the relevant documents, but it's going to pass them to the LLM, and then the LLM is going to come back with a response. So this is not just the relevant documents. This is the LLM that is kind of like consuming these documents, reading these documents, the retrieved documents, and then based on our question and the relevant documents, creates this response. So this is the LLM response, which was created using the retrieved documents and our question. As you can see, it's really nice. It's user friendly. It's helpful. It's not just a bunch of text. And let's see what this answer object contains that we get back from the invoke. So we get an object, and it contains the text, and basically this contains the answer. So this is we're almost ready. So our QA chain is in place. We can invoke it with any question, and then this chain mechanism will go to the retriever, search based on the string on the vector store, get the relevant documents, convert them back into text, because if you remember, the vector store contains vectors, so it will convert the relevant vectors into relevant text. It will pass this text into the LLM, and based on our question and these relevant documents, we will get a response. So this is what is happening in this step. And depending on the configuration and some of the settings for your LLM, you will either get the same response every time you ask the same question, or we might get a different response, kind of like a human-like response, that like a human assistant, which will respond in a slightly different manner every time you ask the same question. So this is step number 8. In the next step, we will be replacing this deprecated retrieval QA chain with the suggested code, the code that LangChain team suggests. So I will see you in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave your comments and feedback below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.